Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Day After Podcast. My name is John. I'm here with Haley.
Hello.
And we want to welcome you to a much more casual, much shorter form review of the 2021 Netflix movie My Little Pony: A New Generation. We would like to warn you have now 60 seconds to leave the video if you would like to avoid spoilers. We're going to get our general feelings out of the way before we absolutely spoil the nonsense out of this movie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I went into this movie totally blind. I was actually pretty good at avoiding spoilers just because I'm not as entrenched in the community.
It's so hard. Being on Twitter was like dodging bullets.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
So I'm really glad I went into this blind. So I definitely harder than ever before. If you have not seen the movie, get out.
Yeah, that we got another 30 seconds to express our opinion. I had a fantastic I am going to be gushing. Here's the problem is that when I review movies, I keep telling myself I'm a snob for movies, then I have such basic tastes.
That's fair, though sometimes your tastes range outside of basics. So that's neither here nor there. I will say I have the only really thing I've seen about this movie is that there are people that are worried how much things are changing. Like one of them said, why are the eyes so huge?
Guys, that's something we'll tackle.
There is design choices here, but I don't know. You get used to them pretty quickly.
The minute's up, everybody. Welcome to a spoilerific review of My Little Pony: A New Generation. Right before we started, I said, not the next generation, that's Star Trek. And my dad's like, what?
Nice.
God, this is phenomenal. Oh my.
Yeah, it was really good. I had a good time.
There are people out there, and I'm not saying, up front, I want to say, guys, I don't want to be that guy who thinks that just because you didn't like something new means that you're afraid of change.
Right.
I don't want to say that. There are people that didn't like this, but overall, it's been extremely positive.
Yeah, and the only thing I was going with that with why are the eyes so big is remember when people are looking for something to comment on without spoiling the movie, and they're also just I think commenting on animation in general. I was honestly very, very worried going into this movie because it looks Minions-y.
Go ahead and elaborate.
It looks like an Illumination production. Not that Illumination production is bad, but I was like, that is not what I expected out of a My Little Pony movie.
I'm gonna say Illumination is bad. No, here, guys, maybe we're a little biased because yesterday they revealed that Illumination is making the Mario movie and some casting
which
choices.
I didn't know until this morning.
Until the casting choices happen. Oh, Mike, we're gonna have a conversation with you. This was animated very, 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 very well. This animation is darn good. We're gonna try not to swear.
Yeah. The animation is very, very good. And again, to elaborate my thought there, number one, I wasn't saying Illumination was bad. Number two, I was just saying that this is the merged into 3D is always a weird transition.
Yeah,
some people do it gracefully. And some people don't. So that's what I meant when I said I was a little worried about
that's fair.
movie.
So you know how video games, they struggle to go from 2D to 3D sometimes? Some people do it effortlessly. Some people struggle. That's what I think rightfully a lot of people were worried about was how this Flash animation show will, translate to the three-dimensional thing.
Right, and if you saw our review of the My Little Pony movie, I said the same thing about the movie. I was like, wow, that animation is really weird. I don't dislike it, but it's really weird.
It's definitely different, yeah. And I feel like your animation style, it's gonna be weird. It's like it's like me watching SpongeBob after watching 3 hours of Friendship is Magic,
Yeah.
It's gonna throw you off. Like if you were just watching the 2017 movie and then you came over here, it would look weird for a little bit.
Or watching anime after watching Western cartoons.
That is especially jarring.
Yeah, so that can really throw you off. But I think it melds really well here. The rigging is beautiful. The designs are awesome.
The textures are out of this world.
The feathering, John had to stop me from saying every 3 seconds. Oh my God, look at the feathering.
Look at their feathers, John. Everything is it's. I understand it had feature film production. This was meant before COVID. This was meant to be a theatrical release.
But I also never got the feeling that they were just not showing off, but how in Pixar where you could see the dust on Mr. Incredible's shirt. It never felt that far. No, it hit a beautiful medium.
Yeah, I think the angriest I got was a scene about in the middle where Pip's hair is no longer clean and is messy now.
Yeah.
I'm like, shut up.
Just stop it.
Shut up.
Stop
it. It's beautiful. And it hurts my brain and my blood vessels that I can't show you any footage because I'm not risking any of that, because that means I would have to go grab footage and put it in the video. So this is why this is audio only. Not only does it look gorgeous and the colors are gorgeous, there's something with these weird sometimes pan cuts where the camera will move semi-motivatedly and then it will cut to a different the same motion somewhere else, especially when they're plotting to steal the Pegasus crown.
Yeah, and the editing all around is very, very sharp. Whether we're panning up into like Zephyr Heights, or as Sunny and Izzy are traveling to Zephyr Heights, they're singing their song, and it cuts between night and day and landscapes, and it's all very seamless. It's all very clean.
And the show,
it's very well done.
The show knows how to use montage effectively. Very nice.
Yes.
So I was,
which is like a mythical creature in today's film.
I was thinking about it's not even close to the same, but like watching Sunny and Izzy walk was kind of like the Wizard of Oz. Like a lot of the Wizard of Oz is go a little bit, stop, meet the Scarecrow, walk, meet the Tin Man, walk. And this is just like, okay, you getting to the next place, not as important. I understand we're bonding. We got some sort of energy. We'll cut through that into a nice little motion, and it's really well done, and I like that a lot.
I also like how in Izzy's song they're talking about this is how unicorns walk, and that made me pay attention. All 3 kinds of ponies have different walk cycles.
Do they really?
Yes, it's very subtle. Izzy's is the most pronounced.
The unicorns do walk a certain way.
Yeah, they like pick their hooves up a little bit more, and there's like the attention to detail, I guess, is what I really want to draw their attention to, not just in their animation and how just gorgeous they look, but the character details as well. How the characters move and how they talk and how their rigging works is completely unique to them, which I really like.
It does. Looking back now that oh my god, this is a rewatch bonus.
And even if it's not, it looks that way.
Now here's what I'm thinking about is when they go to the bar and they meet Alpha Biddle, that he definitely kind of drags his feet a little bit more. And maybe I'm just projecting that, and the Earth Ponies have a really natural, fluid cadence, whereas now it's breaking apart. I actually want to go back and watch the movie and see how the people walk.
Yeah. And again, I think it's more subtle, but you do notice things like that. And I really like that attention to detail.
One thing that they, not even a stylistic thing that people, I don't understand that you have to get over the animation change or whatever, which they did pretty well. Also, people have said that this movie is very much doing its own thing. And I was expecting complete disjointedness. I didn't get that either. I got there was like fan service at the beginning with a weird dream sequence while they're playing as kids, and they got back all 4 voice actresses to do that, and then they're flashing back to the Gen 4 ponies in like figurine form. But after that, we're gonna tell our own story.
Right.
And that is actually really refreshing. I think it would have dragged the movie down if they were constantly referencing to Twilight era Equestria.
Yeah, I would say they hit a happy medium, but they hit like a happy 1/3, where you had enough references to Generation 4 for the people who care, for them to be like, for them to like perk up their ears and are like, oh, okay, yes, this is a thing, I understand. But at the same time, it is very much its own thing, because you can't just make Gen 4 again.
Yeah, I think that's probably the worst way they could go, is make the Gen 4 thing again. I'm holding that thought. There are just enough like references to Gen 4 to make me go, ooh, nice. Like one of Izzy's like musical contraptions plays the theme song.
Right. Well, and she raps once.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good segue, everybody. I'm not calling anybody out. I want to. I am a brony, but I also really like story and structure and character design, so I have to bring this up. And we can talk about it. This isn't a thesis. I think that let me just say it out there. Some people have called Izzy the replacement Pinky, and what I want to something that I want to warn people against is it happens with movies a lot. If I'm describing my friend to you, and I have to say, oh, it's like this person mixed with this person, just a touch of this person, that's no longer a ripoff. That's just elements of a character. Like you can't say it with enough of, you might know this person based on your interests. With enough of those like different elements taken from people, you no longer can call it a rehash. And I think that the show did a really good job creating characters that weren't rehashes.
Yeah, I will say, number one, these characters are not rehashes. Number two, I think it's fairly easy to do a rehash. Fusion is probably the most common. You see this a lot with Sonic OCs.
Interesting.
Where you like people have kids because there's every pairing under the sun.
Tails and Rouge get together, have a Tails Rouge baby.
Yeah, and so you get kids, like in this example, you get kids that are just their parents cut in half and
right,
pasted together.
Yeah, and that can be a sign of
that can happen. This show does not do that.
That can be a sign. Yeah, that can be a sign of bad writing. And as much as I love fan fiction, bad writing is out there, and it's more prevalent in fan fiction because everybody's an amateur. Right. They did a good job with this, and I think that part of the reason they got away with Izzy being, and I'm using huge air quotes here, you can't see me, replacement Pinky, is that Pinky was she served a purpose in the set of core characters. You go back and watch our hour-long review. You have to have that person that is that positive swath of comedic energy. You can't have a really serious crowd, because think about the main six. You take Pinky away, the energy level of the room goes down quite a bit.
Right.
And you need that. And I'm not.
I will say, though, not playing devil's advocate, just slightly tipping the scale to the other side.
Okay.
If any character in this movie can be said to be as close to a carbon copy of the main six as you can get, it's Izzy.
And that's fine. That's fine, guys. Not only that, I'm number one, I'm okay with that. Two, that is not a criticism.
No.
Yeah, but you're right. I can see it. I guess my official answer, if you want a statement, is yeah. So what?
Right. Yeah, and right. Since we are talking about character, I don't think we need to do in-depth character bios or anything.
No, we don't need to do the
sweet for the love of Celestia. I'm so glad you did not make Vanessa Hudgens boring.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It would have been so easy to just write off Sunny as an absolute nothing, and I would have just been so sad because Twilight was handled so well. But no, Sunny was handled very well. She's kind of the eternal optimist. I'm a protagonist. But that never gets in the way, and she has a lot of character.
I think that she was instilled these positive ideas from her dad, and I think that there's a lack of cynicism, and I think it's not just like a wide-eyed, oh, aren't you precious John Hammond cynicism from Jurassic Park. It's this is what I think, and we're going to tackle that. Yeah, it
reminds me a lot of Judy Hopps, actually, from Zootopia.
I got that.
Though I have other issues with Zootopia, but that energy is what is similar.
I almost said out loud, I got that too. I didn't get that until you said it, but it makes total sense. Yeah, she's definitely got that. I want to make the world a better place, and not just so you can dump on my character.
Yeah, and again, I don't want to go in depth into character bios, but Zip and Pip are handled very well.
Zip and Pip, yeah, okay. So real quick, because that's an interesting pair. I got really worried because there's an online which character are you poll that Hasbro did that you can put in some answers and see what character are you, and it's interesting that the way to get Hitch is you just constantly answer. The rules are important.
Yeah.
I was so worried because quirky quizzes on the internet are really they're very black and white, and I was so worried that Hitch was gonna be this rules always stick in the mud. They did really good. They shaded his character in so good. That's it. Zip and Pip. The best thing I like about these characters is that they're leaving lots and lots and lots of room to grow and explore ideas between them and what their goals are.
Yeah.
Because there was some promotional material from Hasbro who said, Izzy likes this. Zip and Pip like this. Here's what Zip's worried about. Here are Pip's interests. And
her phone.
Fair.
And I do want to touch on that, actually, because it is so easy for movies nowadays to just comment on social things. And it's just so easy to write Pip off as an Instagram star. And it's just like, oh, isn't it funny that this pony's an Instagram star? That's something you can relate to.
I did get worried it was going to be surface level trendy.
Yeah, or and same with their mom, where it's just going to be like, oh, evil queen, isn't it bad when your mom curtails you?
I was points for the use of the word curtail. I did get worried that like with Sprout's mom, I did get worried that I was getting shades of mom from Futurama.
Karen.
Okay.
Only Karen?
Yeah, whatever. But taking a step back from Pip, when they revealed that the ponies had phones, some people freaked out. I'm like, that's neat, because
I mean, whatever.
it's honestly the fact that you made a reasonable, like, they have pony grips for their phones.
As long as it's not they have phones so we can talk to the kids.
Oh no,
and that's not it.
That's why I wouldn't put this in the Illumination category, because that was not a marketing. I mean, it could have been. It could have been motivated to their, a kid's audience.
Right, and this certainly is.
But they didn't spend quite as much time on that. Like, that's the environment that Pip is in.
Right, and that's what she is. I do like that they're sisters. I don't know. Pip is definitely younger, and I want to say that she's like much younger than I was originally led to believe. So maybe just the way her design is and how she looks and how the two sisters act together.
Right.
Not that entirely matters, but it creates an interesting dynamic between the two that, again, would be so easy to be lazy and write off. And yet I say, like, oh, I'm so glad this person wasn't written off. I'm so glad they weren't lazy at this part. At the same time, it's never bogged down with, like, I need to tell you about this character. She likes this. This is her backstory, XYZ. The story never feels bogged down like that.
It doesn't, because it can get lazy when you say that this character is... A well-written character should not be the sum of A, B, C, and D tropes.
Right.
Or qualities, even.
Right, and you discover who they are, and you discover these characters and their qualities through their interaction with the plot and with each other.
Which is why this movie's really well paced. It's phenomenally well paced. I thought for 90 minutes, that's a little too short. I'm not gonna get enough pony for my buck.
Yeah, the third act is a little short in my mind, but it's
otherwise
all over well
it's
paced.
very, very well paced. But back to my original point, after they escape, I'm gonna have to repeat watch this. After they escape Zephyr Heights.
Yeah.
They're walking to the next, to Bridalwood, and as they're walking, pretty much every pair in the group gets a discussion with each other, and that was really, really cool, because you get to see these dynamics, lots and lots of different dynamics, and not story possibilities, because that makes it think like, I'm like, okay, the movie's over, give me the show now, like I'm some greedy viewer. But I like, these are really well shaded characters. As much as I love Friendship is Magic, it got a little choose your favorite pony.
Yeah, and My Little Pony is always going to be an OC factory, and there's nothing you can do to stop that.
And it's only going to get worse now that there's...
Right.
Yeah, with the feathers and all that.
Since we talked about pacing, there's one last point I wanted to bring up personally. If you have more, go for it.
I hit a wall.
But one thing I really, really like, I don't want to sound all kids today, but...
Sorry.
I'm really worried that with movies today, their plots tend to be way overcomplicated, way too complex. And I always feel like that the character moments or the quiet moments are just the breaks between either the action scenes or what have you. I see this a lot with modern Disney animation, and I see it really, really bad with things like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which I haven't seen a lot of for this very reason.
Mm-hmm.
But movies are too complicated today. There's too much stuff happening. There's too many beats. There's too many songs. There's too many characters. And this movie was not that at all.
There's the shoe. Okay, I was like, where are you going with that?
Because it was really, really nice to just sit down and watch. And this is kind of why I love kids' movies, is that they've really just streamlined it. It was an easy story. I don't feel like we were just jumping between story beats. No, it really felt organic and together as a film. And again, it's something I haven't seen out of a lot of modern movies lately. And it was a trend I was worried was going to catch up with My Little Pony, and it doesn't seem to have done that.
No, it didn't. That pacing is really good, and it does. You do need a lull, because you had a whole semi-heist sequence.
Right, but the lulls are character moments. They're people bonding. They're getting together. They're not waiting for the next thing to happen.
That was my other shoe, is that you have these... I wouldn't say that anything is a set piece in this movie, because it's all so well paced. When I say set piece, I'm thinking about that like that one cool scene, like the Jurassic Park raining scene.
Yeah.
Or the other raining scene from the second Jurassic Park. Like those huge set pieces that you're waiting for. I could watch this entire movie. Like if I were a 4-year-old kid born in 2017, that was gross to say. I could watch this and enjoy the quiet talking.
Right, and
parts.
understand what's going on. Whereas, like, you watch any new Star Wars film, I've seen some of them multiple times. I cannot tell you what happens. Or like Frozen 2, I could tell you the songs, but that whole movie is a blur to me. It's just too jam packed.
Okay, yeah, we're getting a little kids these days, but you're right. I mean, it just speaks to the positiveness of this pacing, which is really, really good.
Yeah.
Here's a weird spoiler. A couple weekends ago, you and Mike watched a Brendan Fraser movie, and you told me, "Hey, this guy voices the villain from My Little Pony," and I'm like, "What?"
Oh what? God, I don't remember this.
Was it Sprout? Because
no, it was Argyle.
Argyle.
It was Argyle. It wasn't a villain. But it was whoever voiced Argyle.
Her dad.
Yeah.
Okay. So my wife. Number one, I do apologize for being stanky. That I was worried you spoiled me that this movie had a villain, because this is the kind of show now that you're getting older. Kids expect more emotionally intelligent movies. So maybe there might not even be a villain. How wild would that be?
We were doing so good.
That's what I have the censor noise for. And I was like, oh no, who is this person that Argyle sounds like it must be the villain? And mostly no real villains. A couple people that have some personality issues, but
yeah, but no real villain. Again, it's and I think we're drawing away from the villains, which that's neither here nor there. But yeah, there's bad people. And there's people who do bad things, but there's no, like, evil for evil's sake. There are people, not even the Karen.
So, like, I'm not a bad person. I just do bad things. That's really interesting.
Yeah. It's a villain, if you want to call it, but with depth.
Okay. I like to cut it off at the pass. If you're done with the
I'm
adults.
not.
I like to cut it off at the pass. Some people might be turned off by the three MacGuffins not actually being magical and just being metaphorical.
And then they were magical?
But they weren't. But I want to go back and say, well, the elements of harmony, how metaphorical could you get? Back in the pilot of Friendship is Magic, when they had the 6 gems and then they broke, and then Twilight Sparkle goes, no, we each represent, these feelings.
You sound like you're counteracting an argument that I would never hear anybody make.
No, what I'm saying, some people... that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm fighting.
I'm just like, who would say
that? I'm in the shower getting ready to have an argument.
This fan base knows what it is, John.
You know what it is? I'm in the shower getting ready to go start a fight with somebody I haven't met, but it's par for the course that at the end, those 3 gems were metaphorical for us learning to be friends together, and that's fine. That's par for the course.
And then they were met. That's fine.
I had a little book of like I didn't do it, but I wanted to, because I tried so hard to avoid spoilers here, and I took a couple of notes. Like maybe somebody will be Applejack's grandkid. Like actually, that would have just made me mad. I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah, that would have been just dumb. That would have been a fan fiction.
Yeah, you can make it. No, you can make.
People have.
You can make anything.
It's time to go, John.
Yeah, it's time to go. I had a great time. Guys, stay for the end credits thing. That was pretty neat. But the alicorn, I was shocked. Like halfway, just as a cat, I was enjoying the movie so much. Right at the end, I'm like, there's no alicorns in this movie.
Well, I remember seeing Sunny turn into the alicorn, and I'm just like, and I'm like, wait a minute, duh. Her dad put wings and a horn on her.
That's called a visual metaphor. It's visual foreshadowing. It's so good.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're about to be done here. I really want to thank you guys. I could spit
He's
about.
He's flapping right now, everyone.
I'm twirling. That's been our 25-minute review of the 2021 My Little Pony movie, A New Generation, now out on Netflix. Please go watch it. I'm gonna watch it again later.
Yes.
Right now, I've just finished a 1,000-hour project. You can go look at. It's Friendship is Magic: The Day After podcast. Give that a check out if you want more curated content. I'm tired.
Hey, there's some really talented people involved in all of this. So you guys are awesome. Everybody's awesome.
I'm a sheriff.